Peace be upon you. Okay, the feminine finds an unfair cost. She's challenged either financially, unexpected expenses, paperwork, administration, legal matters, bureaucracy. She has to handle some business, trying to find some balance, manage her expenses, her finances in general, find new ways to earn an income. It seems as if she's not really satisfied. She needs to cut down on things, show maturity, financial maturity specifically. Unexpected expenses coming up for the feminine. She's also going through a healing. I believe she made a decision to either heal, release, integrate, forgive, transcend, overcome, or leave something entirely behind. And she's taking action as she's advancing in a very mature, proactive kind of a manner, whereas she knows what she needs to change. The masculine, on the other hand, is consumed by the jealousy. They're either interested from a distance, consumed, competing, or feeling as if they're not enough, triggered, dissatisfied with themselves. There's a lot of comparison here. He may also already have something specific in mind, either when it comes to the partner that they want, someone that they're interested in, goals, targets, hopes, especially when it comes to material, practical manifestation. They seem that they failed, victories in reverse. They feel as if they failed, caution. So right now they're consumed by feelings of failure, feeling tied down, frustrated, incapacitated, limited, restricted. It's gonna take a while until they see their own limitations, or it's gonna take a decision, one that can be extremely impulsive or sometimes reactive, in order for them to take themselves out of this. Some level of brutal facing with facts or a situation, a eureka, a powerful decision, a 180 of some sort that would mark a grand rising, no matter how chaotic, or which will mark the final end or leaving behind of what was, in order to advance towards the unknown. So they have to make a decision to advance, regardless of whether they either see actual potential of achievement, fulfillment, or success in whatever they're trying to grasp onto in order to advance, what they're aspiring towards, dreaming of, hoping for, desiring. So they have to go regardless and advance in that direction, even though they don't know how they're gonna get there. Fortune and fame, yeah, they're aiming high, and they have to take a leap of faith. The masculine is taking a leap of faith. They have to defy themselves, their own limitations, the limitations of their own circumstances, psyche. It's called for an update. And making mistakes is inevitable. As long as the two of them, the feminine is owning up to them, taking accountability, not blaming anyone, the masculine is directed, or rather stuck in some form of being conditioned by external factors rather than emotional inner revelations or states or limitations. Their limitations are actually quite true, in the sense of them perceiving the chaotic, less fertile or promising of current circumstances, hence why they need to literally do something to defy those circumstances, either break out of them entirely, such as making bold power moves that to others may appear either irresponsible, reckless, chaotic, etc. It's kind of a mixture of magician, hero, and the fool to some, but they gotta allow themselves to make mistakes, because they cannot hold the state for too long. This it's kind of consuming, destructive, and I gotta do something. It calls for action. So except they don't know how. They don't have the means, the resources, the support, the know-how, the vision, the clarity. And again, the environment is definitely not working in their favor. So they either pick up and move entirely, leave something. Again, 180s, grand risings, breaking free, breaking out, breaking chains, mental patterns, habits. It's typical of the masculine once they make that decision and reach an obvious, tangible limit of some sort to decide to either break through it, push it, fly over it, regardless. It's quite dramatic. It requires all the power and the courage that they can muster, which they seem to have within them. If it's in relationships, they're gonna go for someone that may not be their type, maybe all the way at the other end of the world. They don't know how they're gonna manage it. They've got nothing to offer. They're gonna take that chance either way. They're determined to make it happen one way or the other, but they understand the need to either think outside of the box, release control when it comes to the details on how they're gonna get there or make that thing happen. So there is kind of a vision, but it seems to constantly push them away or through or over or beyond the environment or the means or the resources or the methodology or the application, the strategy that they're trying to apply because of the limitations of the current environment. Either there's a lack of jobs, of resources, of opportunities, support system, meeting the right people at the right time, finances, resources, etc. Nothing seems viable from all the things that could be considered as worthy of consideration when it comes to seeking out for opportunities, even if you approach something strategically, therefore considering to be rather a process that will lead you towards that elevation. They don't see it how, because even the latter, whether that's social, economical, seems to be even spiritual or seems to not exist. There's no promise or tangible reasonable opportunity in their current environment. So yes, they will have to break out of it again, either mentally, or they have to come up with original ideas, non-conventional, perhaps even unorthodox. They defy themselves, their education, their social conditioning, their peer pressure, societal norms. They have to just literally think outside of the box. It's something that exists outside or beyond, again, whatever current program they're trying to run in or manifest from. Okay, making mistakes is inevitable here. 67, CPCF, 69. All roads lead back to Rome. They're choosing a location based on the opportunities that they can provide, and their actual call has to do with either if they have a partner, they need to either protect or provide or show up, etc. And if they don't, they're seeking for said partner. It ties in with the feminine in some sense. Also, the feminine has the healing. So of course he knows that no matter how hurt he's gonna be once he makes this move, this brave journey, or she's gonna be the one to be able to heal, balance that out, etc. And he also knows that feels that there's either a partner or someone that depends on them that cannot make it all on their own, or at least it's not unfair cost for the feminine to do so. So the masculine is feeling the burden that the feminine is struggling with. She's in danger. She's holding, Let me try and speak in English. She's holding her head above water, barely. I'm not sure if she realizes the effort that she has put in, and so be proud of yourself, sisters out there. As for the he has to enter that chaser, predatory, I guess call it Sigma if you want, kind of dominant male and lone wolf kind of an energy, werewolf almost. They need to move in stealth. They've got no one. They're on their own, as it should be at this time. And yeah, they gotta move by counting merely on their instincts, their impulses, their own inner energy, however it may guide or lead them, and they can have not much consideration, tact, softness, or concern about anyone or anything else other than the goal and getting themselves through or out of very unfortunate current environment. So they're quite aware. This is when you become aware of the dire circumstances that you find yourself, and your energy matches or changes, responds to that in order to allow you a fighting chance, a winning chance, I mean, in order to push through it. So he's being infused with the energy that he needs in order to literally navigate the jungle of what he's faced with here, the dangers then. So he's infused with that energy. It may appear as extremely chaotic, aggressive, even, you know, aggressive in the sense of dangerous, I guess, to some capacity, as in out of the way. They're not gonna think twice. They're gonna be extremely instinctive, reactive, impulsive. Yeah, no chances, you know, left, right, yay, nay, move. Okay, they're gonna do what they have to do, period. They're moved by raw instinct and a call almost, right? So rather than sitting and howling at the moon, he's going for the moon. That's kind of the energy. If there's this energy of return, we're going to look in a moment here. Fortune and fame, we're going to read this card. The making mistakes speaks about there is no transformation unless you're willing to get yourself hurt, to treason and revolt. That's the energy of the masculine, is pushing against something or through something. Treason and revolt, yeah. He sees the reality for what it actually is, and he matches that energy, the deception, the falsehood, the corruption, yeah. And he's very motivated. Lone wolf again, 54. The fall of empires. He knows what's up. The masculines that are single, you called to find your feminines because they need you, and you need them. You gotta find one another. Purification, Ariel. The fall of empires. There it is. The changes. The transformation that's going on at the shift of ages, and purification. Intellectual talent and the light of understanding. Powerful cards ahead. Affinity and friendship. Wow. Okay, let's read. Treason and revolt. Motivation is here. Eloquence. Let's read fortune and fame. Poyel speaks of someone that they either already have their eyes on, is what they individuate as, I guess, the end all be all, the sacred grail, the Ark of the Covenant, the alchemical gold, their counterpart, their dream, their whatever. The horn of abundance, home. They're aiming towards the sky, literally. Star, fortune and fame, they're seeking to find their place, both physically and emotionally, spiritually. Okay, Poyel means God sustaining everything. The psalm is 145, verse 15. The Lord upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up those that be bowed down. So he's bowing down in face of the light of understanding that we saw over there, in regards to what's going on. The underlying spiritual meaning of what humanity is faced with. So that's why they're now rising and ready. They have a covenant, they've made a covenant, a promise, a resolution, a decision energetically, and they're being infused with the necessary energy for them to fight whatever is ahead. Again, fighting chance, a fighting chance. The feminine's fighting chance is her spiritual resilience and her ease of flow and adaptation. There's a different kind of a strength, emotional, vibrational, spiritual, whereas his is just raw physical ability to navigate this reality. It's physical strength and stamina and momentum and courage, and that again it may translate as extremely violent or brutal at this time, but again it's consequential and it's relative to the circumstances that they're faced with, the enemies that they have to defeat. So don't judge someone by what they're currently called to do. That's not all that they are. Out of context, your partner will definitely differ from your expectation, that they may appear as a brute or lacking in depth or values or principles or foundations or dreams or goals or maturity, or it's quite the contrary is true. Quite the contrary is true. So there will be a challenge here. The feminine may actually be resistant to this kind of a masculine because of how raw and authentic and straightforward, and they're wasting no time, they're playing no games, they know what they want, they say it, they do it, they go for it. And the feminine may be a bit, well, then again, she cannot take any chances, make any mistakes, or at least that's how she feels. But again, the card says there, you gotta break some eggs. In other words, you gotta step outside of a comfort zone or of your old ways of doing things that may have given you some sense of safety or safe navigation throughout this turmoil and terrible stage that we're all going through. Those born under Poyal's influence are held in esteem for their modesty, moderation, and agreeable humor, and find success through their talents and conduct. Poyal obtains whatever you request and rules over fame, fortune, and philosophy. Sole guardian of those born between 6:20 and 6:40 p.m. Moral guardian of those born on May 14, July 25th, October 5, December 16, February 26th. Physical guardian of those born between December 20 and December 24. So this has already been unleashed, this stage, in preparation for them needing to advance or do whatever they need to do to get to whatever they need to get to. They're literally being moved, infused with whatever they need to, again, depending on what they're needing to fight against or break out of. Or the werewolf, for example, right? Let's say that this would be embodying archetypal wise spirit of the werewolf. They go at night, they're moved by the feminine energies, and navigate therefore by raw instinct. It's animalistic pursuit, which means that they will tend to resources, stability, food, shelter, reproduction, finding their mate, protecting their cubs, the innocent, the vulnerable, etc. They're moved by infused with superpowers of some sort. And there's a lot to say, something came through, but I'm gonna just stick to this message, which is they are breaker of chains. You cannot imprison them. This is freedom at all and any cost, and it seems as if this is the counterforce to the force that's currently restricting or limiting them to the point of threatening their own survival. And impeding them from fulfilling their purpose, reuniting with their loved ones, finding or fulfilling their mission, their tasks, their whatever they're called to. And again, they're infused with some form of a superpower, a strength and a resilience, and they see at night. Their senses are extremely heightened. Superpowers again. They navigate based on signs, and they hold presence, alertness, fearlessness, but also, of course, they're moved by a desire of some sort. They don't need to identify it, they just know that they're moved in order to either find, procure, conquer something, whereas at the same time, they're doing so because they also need to liberate, remove blockages, limitations, transcend in some form, even if it doesn't look beautiful, even if they wouldn't choose to be this based on how others may perceive them, or they're extremely unapologetic, individualistic, opportunistic, and again, nearly indestructible, pretty fast, pretty quick, raw, true. They're playing no games. What you see is what you get. And of course, in this dynamic, they also make a clear distinction in between prey and predator, recognizing themselves as a predator, therefore knowing that others may perceive them as well in that same manner. So hence why they will most likely stay focused on the goal. They're not opportunistic predators, but rather focused, directed. They're aiming at something specific. So they're not going to be easily neither distracted, lured, manipulated, confused. But they represent no danger to anyone, not even to the ultimate target. But as they navigate, that's how they're going to appear. They have no time to lose, to waste. They cannot be enchanted, mesmerized. And again, they're directed, focused, raw, brutal. And they cannot and usually do not fail when it comes to obtaining what they're aiming towards. Even if it takes them a lifetime, even if they have to fight multiple battles, they advance stealthily. So always in stealth mode. So usually you don't see them, they see you first. This is someone who knows where they're going. At least instinctively. Yeah. Beauty and the Beast energy. Poel is from the Order of Principalities. Now to read motivation. Treason and Revolt, number 16. House of Marriage, Justice, Law, Partnership, the legal system, institutions, what is right, what is wrong. So therefore also decisions that weigh one's morality, and highly unapologetic energy. They will make mistakes. They will do things that they consciously know that they're going to have to live with. Some form of a sacrifice is called for here. And they know it. They're going to do what they have to do, yes. If not them, then who? The challenge is, yes, Beauty and the Beast, that she will most likely perceive them in this energy, and unless she can see straight through the persona, the role that they're currently playing, the feminine needs to be almost in High Priestess energy, where she has to see through straight to their heart, right, the spirit, and recognize them beyond surface level appearances, current status, current financial situation, looks, etc. This is literal ability to communicate almost telepathically, because communication will also be extremely problematic. They have two languages, two distinctive languages, highly incompatible, right? They rarely ever speak, but rather speak through action and energy, and they may instill fear, inadvertently so, not necessarily intentional. It goes with what they currently embody. Whereas she speaks gently, softly, and at this time, this is about telepathic, energetical type of a communication. Yes, he's aspiring to someone that he either feels completes them precisely because appears to be opposite yet complementary to them, see themselves, again, very raw, very self-aware, very as a brute of some sort, has embraced it, this current state, and sees her as the complementing energy to that. He knows what he's aspiring to. He's quite aware. Definitely Beauty and the Beast energy here. Will she accept him? She'll have no choice but to recognize him and stay true to herself, what her intuition is going to tell her, which is, this is my person. Not the looks, not the age, not the class, not the status, not that you were ever able to anticipate or what is this about? Treason and revolt. The feminine has gone through a lot of treason, by the way. And I feel the masculine is feeling that, almost of her energetic defender. She had to embody that masculine energy, hence why she has to tackle everything on her own. But someone held this energy or channeled this energy to her in order for her to be able to do so. The rational aspect, she embodied some form of a masculine energy that allowed her to, while still embodying her higher feminine, could still navigate aspects that were quite displeasing and unnatural and uncomfortable to her. Some form of an unfairness here. She's either been stolen from, cheated out of something, not honored or rewarded for her efforts and sacrifices and love, and yeah, betrayal galore. She's gone for a lot of that. It's this energy that says, nah, never gonna happen again. We know about the twin flames, right? And the power couples. Now let's read it. Loyalty is in reverse. Betrayal, yes. He's a lone wolf. She's, as a high priestess, she's not really a part of either a group or a committee or per se. Okay, Zepar. Hakamaya rules over Zepar. Zepar is a duke, the 16th spirit. Zepar is a great duke who appears in red apparel and armor like a soldier. His office is to cause women to love men and to bring them together in love. He also makes them barren. Zepar governs 26 legions of infernal spirits, servant of those born between June the 3rd and June the 7th. This is someone highly intelligent. You gotta look at where the Mercury placement is. Sulfur and Mercury. This is definitely a twin dynamics here. A sacred union of some sort. Will they make it? Yes. Hakamaya is a cherubim, which reels over. The jealousy card is them not being able to accept that they will lose their feminine, or someone else has their hands on their feminine, is exploiting or using or harming or hurting their feminine. They cannot tolerate it conceptually, right, energetically, and that's what moves them. I gotta go. So it's the rising of the masculine, because it's only natural. The feminine has been holding the space energetically, emotionally. So Hakamaya, we were saying, is the raising god. Yes, here he is, risen. in a form that, yeah, may not look pleasing, or, but yeah. The psalm is a cherubim, means Psalm 88 verse 1. O Lord, of God of my salvation, I have cried day and night before thee. Both of them have cried a lot. He sought for connection, understanding of Father's intention. Infuse me with whatever. Hineni, aneni. I'm ready, my Lord. Send me. I'm ready. He's ready. We have Aries energy as well. Sulfur, Mercury, gold and silver, yes. The silver is the prize. Those who know, know. Venusian energy with the 7, silver, gold and copper. Tin is used in witchcraft. Stick on copper and silver. Silver mainly. Resources. Find your people, your tribe. Be moved, be directed. Cut through the bull. Nothing to lose. Don't look back. Keep going. One and 6. Yeah. It's an alignment, a meeting, a rekindling, a reunion, some form of a victory. Eloquence, Daniel, number 50. Major changes. This implies, this union or this meeting of these two people here implies how beautiful this feminine, just look, wow. Implies major changes here. Joy, betrayal, there it is. The Baron energy speaks to me of the sisters that either can no longer have children, they've entered the crone state, right, with the embodied wisdom and defying therefore the physical laws of entropy and atrophy, which means entropy and atrophy in the physical means enlightenment in the spiritual, right, advancement in the spiritual, on the spiritual ladder. This was conquered through not only this lifetime, and right, but in this current cycle the feminine has entered her crone, which means it's usually after 45, or either she cannot have them regardless of age. She either has white or gray haired already. She's a wise one, embodying the Empress energy as well. This is not about children yet, the Baron, or she has them, they're no longer with her. She lost the children and so on and so forth. Usually she had quite a traumatic beginning in her childhood as well, and quite the journey, whereas most of what would be defined as ease of joy and was denied to her because of betrayal. The feminine that wasn't supposed to have children. High Priestess doesn't. So it's kind of a mixture of the seat or vessel for the Holy Spirit, also embodying the earthly authority that the feminine has been bestowed with, invested with, sorry. Definitely distinguishes herself by merit of the very unique journey that she had in order to shape and bring her to this state. Anyone who can get even a glimpse of an eyesight of her, be in her presence for a moment, it's literally restored by mere sharing of the same space with this person, never mind intention or her extending her light, her glory, her warmth, or her truth, regardless, unto someone else. Either way, when you're touched or come in contact or cross this feminine on your path, your life is transformed for the better, regardless of how it may look. Powerful feminine. Further energy, yeah, there it is. Someone is heading home where they want to be. Chain, no chain, tie me, this is where I want to be. Yeah, they know where home is. So they are highly loyal and committal. And we had that energy of loyalty being the problem because of treason and revolt, right? Zepar, which Hakamaya rules over. Beautiful. Bottom of the deck, the Queen of Cups in reverse. Yeah. She may be resistant to the transformation that this implies because she's been holding her head above water for so long. Even the slightest of, you know, of more of an intense kind of a shift here, whether that's emotion, changes that imply her making difficult choices and renunciations, and feels as if she's gonna lose her balance for good when it comes to navigating the physical, practical reality. This is not someone who prioritizes that. If I have enough to survive, it's okay. She can do without, you know, safety, security, etc. Moving a lot or traveling a lot. She can also do with isolation or needing to feeling stuck, with scarcity. She can do with that, right? That's not what she cultivates, what she's all about, what she values, what nourishes or nurtures her soul and her spirit. No, doesn't tie in with her purpose overall. But at this time, she's being called to do just that, to embrace a new reality that's quite physical, practical, implies major changes. And at this point, she barely found some semblance of something that appears to be security or safety, and she had to really kind of convince herself that it is, and be fine with it, in acceptance, in humility, in right, it's fine, I have enough, it's fine, I have enough. No, regardless of whether you feel you have enough or not, you're called to embrace a new cycle, major changes for the feminine. That's why she will resist. She will hold on to this bare minimum of what is not hell that she managed to conquer after a life of strife and trial and denial and negation and lack of esteem and respect and acknowledgement, nurture or care from anyone else towards her, right? So again, it's the energy of the feminine that cannot birth physical children. Right? This change implies most likely a need to move. Once this person arrives, it will change your life. It means you either relocate, you'll have to make decisions, or adapt your current occupation, habits, etc. But yeah, when the rider comes, you need to receive a blessing, sisters. You gotta receive it. This, you see the number here, turns into this. And you're gonna have to be ready and trust your intuition. Don't be afraid. You will not lose anything. You're leaving behind a very challenging cycle, all the wrong masculines and so on and so forth. And it's time for security, safety, home, prosperity. Where is it? And that's your fate. Accept it. There's victory. Yeah, it's the transition that you will be resisting. The cycle, the commitment. Trust it. Say yes. You're gonna know in the time. Yeah. Oh. It's time. Shalom.